1863, the United States of America, a house divided. This is the story of the Transcontinental Railroad, a bold attempt to span the West with iron rails, the greatest train race in history.
You are about to lead a team of 10,000 men across the most dangerous and difficult land on Earth. If you succeed, it will be the greatest engineering feat this country has ever seen.
If you fail, the country will forever stand divided.
The Central Pacific.
The Union Pacific.
Two railroads racing towards Utah.
Golden Spike, if victory is yours. The race is on. Should we join the Central Pacific Railroad or the Union Pacific Railroad?
Start in California and race east to Utah. Or start in Nebraska and race west. The choice is yours. Click on the posters to get more information on each company. Click on Join when you want to start.
Join the Union Pacific and build west from Omaha, Nebraska to Promontory, Utah. Omaha, Nebraska, a frontier boomtown whose fortunes are on the rise thanks to the railroad. Utah, over 1,000 miles from Omaha along the California Emigrant Trail. Let's just say it's not exactly clear how the Native Americans feel about iron horses galloping across their land. The route is long, but it's mostly flat. To Omaha, let's go! Welcome to Engine HQ. I'm Jack. Got my steam-powered map. Got my train of thought journal to keep track of all the money I make. Got everything I need, except the Golden Spike.
Not so fast, Jack. We may never win the Golden Spike. Haven't you seen the paper?
Golden Spike stolen!
A mastermind has stolen the Golden Spike and has hatched a plot to sabotage our railroad. The mastermind has hired 6 of the meanest outlaws in the West to do his dirty work. I'll work on solving the mystery of the Golden Spike.
And I better start building this railroad. Dream Team? We've hired 3 of the wiliest Wild West heroes to help us out.
My name's Jane, Calamity Jane.
I'm Mountain Man James Beckworth. Call me Tomahawk.
And I'm Wild Bill Hickok, the Prince of the Pistoliers.
Now, let's get building.
I'll be in here if you need me.
My steam-powered map works with spectral light filtered in from outside. Manometers, chronometers, receptor lenses, and, well, who cares? It works. From here, I do all the planning engineering for the railroad. We're building from Omaha, Nebraska on the right to Promontory Point, Utah in the middle. To bail on this awesome responsibility, click the exit arrow. If you're puzzled, use the question mark. Here's your train of thought journal. Keeps track of the money you earn, your ranking, and a whole lot more. If you want to see how the competition is doing, click on the milestones on the other side of the map. I'm back here, don't forget. Turn around by clicking on the side of the screen. Ready to build from Omaha to Columbus? Want to know what's going on this year? Try clicking on the calendar. Want to go see Sarah? Through the door behind me. It's 1863. President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation has proclaimed all slaves forever free. What's going on in 1863? President Lincoln has just given the Gettysburg Address. 87 years ago. That's 87 in case you didn't know. There are more than 31 million people now living in the USA. Some say that number could grow by 7 times before the year 2000. 1863. They now make timepieces small enough to wear on the wrist. Now you don't have to run to the town square whenever you want to know the time. Roller skating. It's 1863 and it's all the rage. Mail call. Now people in the cities get their mail delivered for free. 1863 is a pretty good year to have a pen friend. Hey, thank you, President Lincoln, for declaring Thanksgiving to be a national holiday. Wow, did you know that in 1863, most families have 5 kids? I wish I were in London, England this year. They now have trains that ride under the ground. What's that all about? 1863, they just made Arizona a territory. I bet statehood can't be far behind. 1863. Shh, don't tell Sarah. Some guy just filed a patent for color photography. She thought she invented it. It's 1863. President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation has proclaimed all slaves forever free. Ready to build from Omaha to Columbus? Bad for them, good for us. The Central Pacific have to deal with mountains straight out of the gate. Those Sierra Nevadas are murder. All set. Start building from Omaha. And build all the way to Columbus. That's 90 miles across flat land. Now the government grants us $16,000 per mile along flat land. That makes the grand total we can spend without going bankrupt $1,440,000. All right, let's get building. If you want to interrupt me, just hit the escape key. If you want to stop and go back to Engine HQ, click on the exit button. If you want help, click on the help button. If you want to lay down tracks, bridges, or tunnels, click down here. If you want to backtrack and undo what you did, click on the X. Remember, we want to finish up with as much money as possible. Keep watching that money meter. And whatever you do, don't go bankrupt or we'll have to start this building mission over again from Omaha. Omaha to Columbus. Your mission? Make peace with the Pawnee, who are feared by westbound pioneer settlers. I wonder if the settlers' fears are justified. Sarah and the Dream Team are out in the field surveying the best route. Maybe they can help. To plan your best route, click on the highlighted sections of the map. Click on Sarah's camera to see a picture she just took. You can also click on the Dream Team for advice. That's what they're there for. Click on the word Pawnee for more information. To close this window, click on the arrow. The Pawnee are usually friendly. They have lived and farmed in this region for hundreds of years. Pawnee scouts often help the U.S. Army fight against other native people in the area.
The settlers in this area are killing massive numbers of buffalo. That's what I call a massacre. This is a big problem since the Pawnee depend on buffalo for food and shelter.
If you talk to a Pawnee scout, he'll tell you that the U.S. government has treated them much worse than the Sioux or Apache. Their word can't be trusted. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's something to think about.
Some say the Pawnee got their name from the Sioux word for feather because of the bright feathers they like to wear.
There were about 10,000 Pawnee in this area not too long ago. That's all changing now that settlers from the east are coming west. Heck, think the railroad's gonna help the Pawnee?
Building starts in Omaha in the Nebraska Territory on December 2nd, 1863. Omaha is the eastern starting point of the Transcontinental Railroad. Congress put President Lincoln in charge of picking the starting point of the railroad. He chose Omaha. Click on the Dream Team and they'll tell you more.
Been walking around town. City's full of gold seekers and men who are trying to avoid being drafted into the Civil War.
We call it the Pacific Railroad because it's the first railroad destined to connect the Pacific Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean. President Lincoln located the eastern starting point of the first transcontinental railroad here in Omaha in December 1863.
Omaha is the biggest city in Nebraska. The population is 1,500. It was originally settled by a ferry company that operated between Iowa and the new Nebraska Territory in 1854. Buildings, some say Nebraska will one day be a state. Currently, it's a territory of the United States. Good luck, Nebraska. Hope you make it to statehood.
Omaha is boomtown. There are saloons, heck, even a butcher shop. This place is up and coming.
The Platte River is wide and deep here, with firm banks. Pioneer Campsite. This old campsite was probably used by westbound wagon trains.
There's a broken wagon wheel and a burned-out campfire here.
Pioneers sometimes hid valuable things underneath campfires. After all, who would think to look there?
Campsites like this one were common sights in this area in the days of fur trading. If you come across one, look around. You may find something of value left behind.
North Hills. These hills are steep and grassy. It'll take some blasting to create a level road for the rails. Hills like these are rounded because of erosion. These hills are covered in grass and should be easy to cross. Erosion is a wearing away of land caused by forces such as water or wind.
Ever notice that hills are rounder than mountains? Why do you think that is?
There are ponies here without horseshoes, but no one is around. They could be wild horses. They say if you find cattle without brands, you're allowed to take them. I wonder if the same holds true for horses without shoes.
Wild ponies have run in these parts since the first Spanish explorers in the 1500s.
Grasslands. This area is flat and easy to build on. There are herds of elk nearby that will make for good hunting. Building a railroad on grassland is as easy as falling off a log. I'm pretty good at falling off logs. Elk are a kind of large deer that are mean and sometimes charge. They are an important food source for the nearby Pawnee. The Pawnee depend on the elk and other animals that live in this region for food, clothing, and shelter.
I'm not talking right now. Calamity Jane and I are having a fight.
If you want to build through grasslands like this, all you have to do is pull a few weeds and lay down a track. Even Wild Bill could handle a job like that. Elk are big, but they don't always have much sense. Don't go getting too close to one.
Sand. The land is sandy along the banks of Shell Creek. Sand results from rock breaking up into small, fine pieces. Sand can become quicksand in watery areas. Quicksand is deep, loose sand that is mixed with water. It can trap people and animals. Heavy objects, like railroad ties, readily sink into it.
Quicksand in these parts? I doubt it. I say we build here since it's on the way.
Shell Creek is narrow here, and its banks are firm. Another nearby creek is called Rawhide Creek. It got its name when a man was skinned alive there. Raw hide. A creek is a stream of water that is smaller than a river. Creeks are often tributaries to rivers, meaning they connect with rivers. The river is narrow, and there is evidence of erosion along the banks. Banks are the edges of rivers, lakes, and seas.
The Elkhorn River isn't wide, but with all this erosion, it could be tricky to build here.
The river is narrow, and there is evidence of erosion along the banks. To get bridge info, click on the pictures. To pick a bridge, click on the check marks. There's nothing like a good, strong wood trestle bridge. The river is narrow. There's nothing like a good, strong wood trestle bridge. Locusts invade the area in huge black clouds. There are so many of them that the rails are too slick to run trains on. You lose $10,000.
Bugs! I got a bug in my hair! Get it off! Get it off!
Locusts are grasshoppers that travel in huge swarms, stripping vegetation from the land and making the tracks too slippery to run trains on. Mysterious Hill. This lone hill on the prairie is so Mysterious Hill. This hill is so perfectly round, it may have been created by pioneers who were trying to hide treasure. Decide what to do. Click on Wild Bill or Calamity for more information. Decide what to do by clicking on the check mark. Sometimes pioneers hid riches in areas that were distinct so that they could find the loot again. On the route westward, the pioneers sometimes hid heavy valuables with the intention of coming back someday to get them.
Let's dig. If there's no treasure in that hill, I'll eat my hat.
Digging up old hills just seems like a fool idea to me.
The hill turns out to be a Pawnee burial mound. It was good not to disturb it. The Pawnee often buried their dead under burial mounds. They wouldn't have liked it if we had dug one up. A burial mound is the traditional place for the Pawnee to bury their dead.
I knew it was a burial mound all along. I was just fooling around.
Locals say that this Pawnee toll bridge is the best place to cross Shell Creek. The Pawnee know this area well. I reckon the locals are right about their toll bridge.
The Pawnee are a hunting and farming tribe who have lived in the area for hundreds of years.
Pawnee Toll Bridge. The Pawnee are friendly and allow use of their toll bridge. You save $10,000. That's a fine deal. I reckon it was a good thing we didn't bother the Pawnee when we were building. The wolf population here is very dense. Since they destroy livestock, the local settlers will pay you to hunt them. Wolves are large predatory animals that live and hunt in packs and resemble dogs.
Wolves don't make good eating, but they are pests for farmers who raise animals.
The wolf population here is very dense. Since they destroy livestock, the local settlers will pay you to hunt them. What do you want to do?
You'd have to be plumb crazy to build in the middle of a pack of wolves. They could attack the men.
Wild Bill Hickok's not afeard of no wolves. Let's go hunting.
Your workers hunt 500 wolves. Build to the homesteads if you want to collect the bounty. Let me just say, wolves don't make good eating.
Bang, bang! $5 a wolf? Give me my rifle and I'll make us rich.
German homestead. Germans living in this homestead offer a bounty on wolves. For every wolf your workers hunted, you get $5. Collect $2,500. That's because we hunted 500 wolves. See? I can do math. American railroads sent agents to Germany and Europe to bring workers to the United States. It worked. The Germans came by the thousands. German homesteads were land that settlers could come to own by staking a claim and farming the land.
In the plains, there are few trees, so families build homes with whatever they can find. It takes 3,000 square feet of sod to cut enough bricks for a sod house, which they call a soddy. The owner of a soddy is called a sodbuster.
Columbus is 90 miles from Omaha across flat Nebraska prairie. Our goal is to build track to Columbus with the money we have. If we go bankrupt, we'll have to start this mission over. Columbus was founded in 1856 along the route of the wagon trains that followed westward along the Platte River toward California.
Early residents had high hopes for Columbus. George Francis Train vowed that Columbus would one day be America's capital, since it is the geographic center of the nation.
Congratulations! Fireworks can be seen for miles around on the flat Nebraska prairie. The Union Pacific has made it to Columbus. Lexington, Nebraska. We're right smack dab in the middle of the American continent. Click on the Train of Thought Journal to see your current ranking. We're beating the pants off the CP. It's now 1866. President Andrew Johnson has formally declared the Civil War to be over. Peace at last. The U.S. Treasury Department authorized the nickel this year. Great. A new coin for outlaws to steal. These days, thanks to canning, everyone can buy peas all year long. Great. When I was a kid, vegetables were supposed to be bad for you. But now they say it's just the reverse. This season, the word on the street is black. All the gentlemen are wearing it. The ASPCA was founded this year. Hopefully, there will be no more cruelty to animals. I wonder if that goes for outlaws. Alfred Nobel invented dynamite this year. Maybe we can put it to use blasting tunnels. It's now 1866. Good work! The first leg of the railroad is finished. Now it's on to Lexington. The Transcontinental Railroad is on its way, but it looks like the mastermind is fast on our trail. There's a fire in the Omaha train yard. We need to move our train before it's destroyed. Yee-haw! Yeah! What with the Sierra Nevada mountains slowing them up, the CP's just creeping along at this point. We're whipping their cabooses. Whom should we send on this mission? Calamity Jane? Wild Bill Hickok? Or Tomahawk Beckworth? Dream Team? Omaha, Nebraska, August 3rd, 1866. One of the outlaws has set fire to the train yard. Your mission? Rescue the prized locomotive by driving it out of the train yard. When you're ready to start the mission, click on Exit. If you want to return to this page for help, just click on the Train of Thought journal. Good luck! You're gonna need it.
A lantern! Might help if I need to get inside a dark place. Hey! It's hay! Might be handy for something. Holy cow! I mean, horse! A Navy Colt. One bullet from this would send a keg of blasting powder sky high. I'll just step over here and take my shot. These posters on the wall must be a clue about how to turn the round table. These switches turn the turntable. I just need to figure out which one to pull. Well, that moved something outside. That's forward. That's the throttle. All right, we're on the move. All right, now I just have to put this locomotive in reverse and hook up to the tender car. That's forward. That's neither forward nor reverse. That's reverse. That's the throttle. Perfect. The tender car linked up when I backed into it. Now I just need to drive out of here. That's forward. That's the throttle. All right, we're on the move.
A train yard fire's no match for us. Nice going, eh? Our prize locomotive is safe. Good work! Some people get a penny for their thought. Good work! There's more under my... Good work! The first leg of the railroad is finished. Now it's on to Lexington. Ready? Start building from Columbus and build all the way to Lexington. That's 150 miles. At $16,000 per mile, the government's giving us $2,400,000. All right, let's get building. Columbus to Lexington. There's trouble in these parts between the settlers from the east and the Native Americans. Your mission? don't get caught in the middle. Germans here, and Swedish, Pawnee, Arapaho, and Cheyenne. Huh, whose land is this anyway?
There are buffalo herds near Columbus. They've attracted hunters from the Pawnee, the Arapaho, and the Cheyenne. Watch your step.
German settlers, Swedish settlers, Pawnee, Arapaho, Cheyenne. I thought this was supposed to be a frontier. It's crowded around here.
I don't give two hoots who this land belongs to. We're here to build a train. Let's not get ourselves involved.
Them native tribes were here first, and this land's part of them. If there's a problem with the tribe, don't forget that.
Arapaho Village. These wide fields would be an easy place to build, but you'll have to build across Arapaho hunting land. I wonder if that's a good idea. Some Arapaho are trying to make peace with the U.S. government after the terrible Indian Wars of the early 1860s. Other Arapaho agree with their Cheyenne neighbors that the settlement of Nebraska must be stopped. They want war.
If you want to tell an Arapaho from a Cheyenne, look for the fork or diamond pattern. They're typically Arapaho. The Cheyenne don't use them. Also, look at the colors. Cheyenne use light green, light blue, and black. The Arapaho never use those colors.
Arapaho girls play with miniature teepees that are 2 to 3 feet high. They use squirrel fur instead of buffalo hide. You know what Arapaho boys and girls get for their 3rd birthday? Their own pony. Me? I got a pistol for my 3rd birthday. Yeah!
If you see a fork or diamond pattern, that's an Arapaho. The Cheyenne don't use them. They use different colors, too. Cheyenne use light green, light blue, and black. The Arapaho never use those colors.
The Crow Indians, who live north of the Platte River, called the tribe Alapaho, which means people with many tattoos. The Arapaho love tattoos.
The Platte River is wide and deep here, with firm banks. The Platte River is wide and deep here, with firm banks. Good choice! A wood trestle's just about the best bridge you could build here. The Platte River is good choice! A wood trestle's just about the best bridge you could build here. The Platte River is wide. Good choice! A wood trestle's just about the best bridge you could build here. Columbus, Nebraska. Building starts in Columbus in May of 1866. From here, it's 150 miles across flat Nebraska prairie.
I met one George Train, colorful figure in these parts. He thinks we should have a holiday called Arbor Day. Like that'll ever happen.
When the Sioux kidnapped 4 kids from the Campbell family, the U.S. military came in. They made an exchange with the Sioux Indian chief, Turkey Leg, and got them back.
Folks that live here have high hopes that Columbus will be the capital of the United States someday. That's because it's near the geographic center of the country. Shouldn't the capital be in the center of the country?
In July 1867, both the Campbell and Warren homesteads were attacked. 4 children of the Peter Campbell family were kidnapped by Sioux Indians. The Campbell children were exchanged at a meeting between the U.S. military and the Sioux Indian chief Turkey Leg.
Columbus, some say Nebraska will one day be a state. Currently, it's only a territory of Strong winds damage your bridge. Cost to rebuild? $10,000. No.
Windstorms on the prairies. They're made worse by the fact there are so few trees. There's nothing to stop the wind in its tracks.
Buffalo. Enormous herds of buffalo have been spotted in this area. Your cow catchers may come in handy. What do you want to do? If we hunt them, we'll have plenty of meat for the workers. The American buffalo is the largest land mammal in North America. There are somewhere between 30 million to 70 million buffalo ranging over the continent. Tens of millions. Imagine that.
Watch out for buffalo stampedes. The sound is deafening, like the worst thunderstorm you've ever heard, only 10 times worse. You won't make it out alive.
Buffalo! Cowcatchers were used to push animals and other things off the tracks. They keep the locomotives from going off the tracks.
There's meat enough out there to get all the men to Promontory and back again. We'd be crazy not to hunt them.
The Arapaho hunt those buffalo. It's not worth riling up the Arapaho for a little meat.
We could have saved a lot of money by hunting, but maybe it was smart to stay out of the way of the Arapaho. Pawnee Village. These wide fields are the easiest place to build. Beware, the land is Pawnee. These wide fields of maize and beans would be the easiest place to build. But do you think we should build on Pawnee land? The Pawnee are usually friendly and have lived and farmed in this region for hundreds of years.
When they went each summer on the buffalo hunt, the Pawnee lived in teepees.
Recently, the Pawnee have been angered by their treatment at the hands of the U.S. government.
These wide fields of maize and beans would be the easiest place to build. In fact, it'd save us tons of money. But we'll have to build across Pawnee land. Are you willing to do that?
Each woman will be responsible for planting, raising, harvesting, and storing grains and vegetables, which she would then store in a lined, covered pit dug into the ground near the home.
The government promised to protect the Pawnee from the Sioux, but such aid hasn't been forthcoming, and the Sioux continue to harass them. We could be caught in the middle.
The Swedish settlers here want the railroad. They also want help with their Arapaho enemies. The Swedish moved into this area in the 1850s from their homeland, Sweden, in northern Europe. They're itching to have a railroad nearby for trading.
The Swedish are from Sweden, which is in northern Europe. I've never been to Europe. I hate water, and I'm not about to cross the Atlantic Ocean to get there, not even on one of them newfangled steam-powered ships.
The Swedish live in sod huts here. They fashion bricks out of grass because there are so few trees to be had.
The Swedish settlers want the railroad here. They also want help with their Arapaho enemies. What do you want to do? We'll have to talk to them in Swedish. Sarah can help.
Here are some Swedish words I got from my phrase book. Hope they help.
Well, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but I say onfall. It's for our own safety, too.
Well, I don't know much Swedish, but I do know this. Handel's the word we need if we're gonna all get along.
I reckon I know the best thing to do if we don't want trouble. In Swedish talk, you say, "Gur up."
You have offered to trade with the Arapaho to try to make peace. What do you want to trade?
Money, money, money. The good old U.S. dollar. Who wouldn't want some of that?
Buffalo leather's good for teepees, but I reckon they'd like some cotton cloth for clothes. They don't have any of that around here.
The Arapaho boil water by putting it in a rawhide container and dropping hot rocks into it. I'll bet some iron cookware would make life easier for them.
The Arapaho very much want your iron cookware. You make peace between them and the Swedish, and a $75,000 profit, too.
The Arapaho have no metal and no way to mine it. Them iron cookpots are worth plenty to them.
Marsh. Wet conditions in this marsh. If there's flooding in the spring, it may cost you money. Cheyenne Camp. The Cheyenne are camped in this area. It's not clear how friendly they are. They may be on a buffalo hunt. They may also be here to fight the Pawnee who are hunting south of the Platte.
Bows and arrows, guns, lances, clubs and axes, knives and whips. The Cheyenne have plenty of ways to teach us a lesson or two.
The Cheyenne decorate their firearms with feathers and beads. They carved or painted both the wooden and the metal parts. Marks on the barrel or stock indicate how many men a warrior had killed. Scary. You can tell it's the Cheyenne and not the Arapaho because the tents are sparkling white.
The Cheyenne see this land as theirs. They use a variety of weapons in battle in order to keep these hunting grounds their own. Just before the Civil War, the Cheyennes started using pistols. But they could use them only at the beginning of a battle because they were hard to reload while on horseback. The Platte River is wide and deep here. Good choice! A wood trestle's just about the best bridge you could build here. The Platte River is good choice! A wood trestle's just about the best bridge you could build here. Grand Island. This town booms and prospers due to the railroad. Land sales and commerce earn you $50,000 over the long run.
I don't know what's so grand about Grand Island, but I'll tell you something. Once the railroad comes around, any town can become grand. Just sell land, set up saloons and hotels, and you're rich.
If Grand Island was good enough for the settlers, the Mormons, and the Gold Rush boys, I reckon it's good enough for the train. I mean, everybody else passed through here. Why shouldn't we?
Grand Island is nicely positioned along the Platte River. The land along the river is nice and flat. That's one of the reasons so many people pass this way. I should know. I was one of them.
German settlement. The Germans are getting ready for war with the Pawnee and want your help. What do you want to do?
I got these phrases from my handy-dandy German phrase book. Hope they help.
You have offered to trade with the Pawnee to try to make peace. What do you want to trade?
The good old U.S. dollar's called a greenback in these parts.
All the Indians' clothes are made of buffalo hide.
The Pawnee could use some horses for hunting, I reckon. They call horses super dogs. That just cracks me up.
The Pawnee trade for your horses. Peace is made with the Germans, and you make $50,000 profit for building here.
The Pawnee sure like them super dogs. They call them that because the first horses they saw looked like huge dogs to them.
Lakota Camp. The chief of the Lakota has never seen an iron horse. He challenges you to a race. Challenges you to a race. Challenges you to a race. Do you accept? They call our trains iron horses. They want our iron horses to race their horses. Lakota tribes control most of North and South Dakota, west to the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming, and south to the Platte River in Nebraska.
We don't have time for a race. We're in one already. Racing to Promontory.
I love a good competition. Of course we should race them. How can our iron horse not beat their ponies? We got the power of steam on our side. They only got the power of hay on theirs.
The Lakota are sometimes called the Sioux and sometimes Dakota.
You win the race, and the friendship you establish here benefits you in the long run to the tune of $100,000.
When we blew our train whistle, the unfamiliar noise startled the riders and they got into battle pose, swung over the side of the horse. Later at the victory supper, the Lakota wouldn't touch their food for fear of being poisoned.
Prairie Dog Town. There may be as many as 1 million prairie dogs in this area. The Prairie Dog Town is 30 miles long.
Prairie dogs! There's millions of them out here. Some say billions. Such pests. If I was to set up a farm in these parts, I'd get to hunting them rodents straight away.
A prairie dog is a burrowing rodent in the squirrel family that lives in large underground colonies or towns.
Prairie dogs are cute, but pesky. They dig up the ground and make it hard to build. Farmers just hate them because they damage crops. This prairie dog colony is 30 miles long.
Prairie Dog Town. Good work! Ready? Start build Columbus. Steep hills. These hills are steep and grassy. Buffalo. We could have saved a lot of money by hunting, but maybe it was smart to stay out of the way of the Arapaho. Loup River. The Loup River is narrow and shallow with firm banks. It looks like a good place to build a bridge.
Not much of a river, really. I've seen bigger bathtubs in my time.
The banks of the Loup are nice and firm, good for building. Loup is the French word for wolf. It was French explorers that named the river.
Loup River. The Loup River is narrow and shallow, with a good call. A deck bridge goes with this narrow river like bread goes with butter. Fort Kearny. This fort has been keeping these parts safe for years. This'll be a good place to build.
Fort here. They were set up to protect white settlers from Indian attacks. I wonder if the presence of the forts made the situation even worse. If you saw people building forts in your traditional lands, what would you think?
Strong winds damage your bridge. Cost to rebuild? $10,000. Lakota Camp. You win the race and the friendship you establish. German Settlement. You have offered to the Pawnee trade. Fort Kearny offers your railroad valuable protection. You save $50,000. We'll have to send a thank you card.
Fort here. They were set up to protect white settlers from Indian attacks. I wonder if the presence of the forts made the situation even worse. If you saw people building forts in your traditional lands, what would you think?
Lexington, Nebraska. The area around Lexington is one of the most dangerous areas on the way west. Lexington started out when Daniel Freeman and his family opened a frontier trading post along the Oregon Trail near the Platte River in 1860.
Watch out! This area is still catching its breath from the Plum Creek Massacre. There's danger in these parts. Tread carefully.
Lexington, Nebraska. A big prairie fire is set to celebrate the arrival of the Union Pacific. We did it! Outlaws are just cowards with water for blood. You know what's brave? Figuring out which bridge crosses which river. Our first outlaw has been spotted in Omaha, and it's Billy the Kid. He must be up to no good. We're coming to get you, kid. Let's pick a member from the dream team to do our dirty work. Billy the Kid is hiding in the train yard. Your mission? Catch the kid. First, find out where he's hiding. When you think you know, click on that location with the gold deputy star. You only have one guess, so make it a good one. To start the mission, click on Exit.
It's a fireman! Oh, he hasn't seen the kid. He just came in on engine 110. He's in charge of fueling the engine with wood. He didn't see anything, I told you. It's a switchman. Says the outlaw went south of here. Kid must be hiding south of the switchman. South of here. That's what he says. We'll sniff him out with this. Billy the Kid, show your ugly face. Yippee-i-oh, kid! You're under arrest.
Outlaws are just cowards with water for blood. You know what's brave? Figuring out which bridge crosses which river.
The mastermind hides his tracks well, but everyone we're looking for knows something about him. That's where this steam-powered interrogator comes in so handy. It's the perfect device for people who don't want to talk. Just remember, though, a person is innocent till proven guilty. Geronimo wouldn't be caught dead doing the mastermind's dirty work, but he may have information we could use. Jesse James calls himself the most famous outlaw in the West. Guess what? He may be right. One thing's certain, though. Everyone we're looking for has information we need. Let's leave the engineering to Jack and the interrogating to me, shall we? Speaking of Jack, he's back there, through that door. You can go there anytime you want. I'll stay here and handle these tough guys. Whenever you capture an outlaw, click on the wanted poster and the villain will appear in the jail cell. Click on one of the question words and I'll get down to business. If we trick them into talking, they just may give us clues. There's a secret weapon at my disposal if you know where to look. It's helium. Don't forget, we're trying to figure out who the mastermind is who stole the golden spike. Anytime we get a clue, I'll record it here in the Train of Thought journal. After you capture and question all the outlaws, it'll be time to guess who the mastermind is. This'll teach ya.
I'll never talk. You can't make me. Not even with helium.
I can ask questions that are polite, tough as nails, or totally loco. Which'll it be? A question that's tough as nails. Okay, kid, spill the beans. Who's your boss?
Don't mention food, unless you're prepared to serve me some victuals. I'll tell you this, he's a politician.
We just got ourselves our first clue. Now comes the interesting part. On the cell door is the galvanic skin response steam-powered truth meter. It measures the amount of sweat on the outlaw's dirty palms. It'll gauge whether or not our outlaw friend is telling the truth, lying, or dodgy, which is somewhere in between. Dodgy. I'll put that in the journal anyway. One of these men is the mastermind who stole the golden spike and hired the outlaws to sabotage our railroad. Every time we get a clue, I'll record it here in the Train of Thought journal. Click on a mastermind to look at the clues. I'll list the clues we get for each. If all clues for this question word match the information for that question word, put a check mark in the box. If all 4 boxes are checked, you can bet you found the mastermind. You can't guess who the mastermind is until you have all the clues. So, which one? Outlaw interrogation. Where? Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. You better tell me where your boss lives, or they'll call you Billy the Grandpa by the time you leave here.
Okay. He might be a New Yorker, but I'm not sure.
A dodgy clue. Useless. Did somebody say helium?
Hey, turn that off! Turn that helium off!
What? Let's be tough as nails and see if that works. Billy, you rascally robber. Tell me what your boss looks like or I'll give you what for.
I don't need no what for. I don't even know what a what for's for. But I'll tell you this, he has himself a mustache.
Dodgy. I'll put that in the journal anyway. How? A question that's tough as nails. Tell me how your boss earns his living, Billy the baby, or you'll be living in that cell for a very, very long time.
Forget your threats. I'll just tell you that he earns his money in the South.
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. Hi, outlaws. I'm a human being. What are you?
Hoorah! Our next milestone on the Transcontinental Railroad is North Platte. Let's build! An outlaw has sabotaged one of our trains near Lexington. Black Bart's been spotted back in Columbus. We need to capture him. We're coming to get you, Black Bart. That rat, Black Bart, is hiding out in town. Your mission? Catch the gentleman bandit. First, find out where he's hiding. When you think you know, click on that location with the gold deputy star. If you're right, he'll surrender. Click on exit to start.
Look out! He's coming right for us!
A stockbuyer. His name is Jimmy the Dime. He says Black Bart likes to leave riddles about where he's hiding. The first riddle he left goes like this. What doesn't get any wetter, no matter how much rain falls on it? Outlaw, where you be? Black Bart, your outlaw days are numbered.
Our next milestone on the we're coming. That rat, Black.
A stock buyer. His name is Jimmy the Dime. He says Black Bart likes to leave riddles about where he's hiding. The first riddle he left goes like this. It doesn't get any wetter, no matter how much rain falls on it. Outlaw, where you be? We found him, but he escaped again, that varmint. Let's find out who he's hiding next. It's a cowboy. He saw Black Bart come out of the building. He left another riddle. It goes, what's as big as a church, yet weighs nothing? I'll sniff him out. He saw Black Bart come out of the building. He left another riddle. It goes, what's as big as a church, yet weighs nothing? We caught Black Bart. Yee-haw!
This job plumb riles me.
Let me at him. 2. Let's see if being polite works. Mr. Bart, please be kind and tell me who's the mastermind.
Kind I am and kind I be. His name sounds like a verb to me.
It's true. I'll put it in the journal. Where? A polite question, huh? Tell me where your boss does dwell, so I can free you from this cell. Wouldn't that be swell?
Even though that ditty is not very pretty, I'll tell you that he lived in a capital city.
Dodgy. I'll put that in the journal anyway. Did somebody say helium?
I'll talk at last.
and all talk fast. Just turn off that helium gas.
That'll teach him. What? Polite. Black Bart, I'm your biggest fan. What does your boss look like? What kind of a man?
You're a fan? I just don't care. All I know, he has dark hair.
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. How? A polite question, huh? Do tell me, Mr. Bart, just how does your leader keep money in his feeder?
Much to my enjoyment, I know of his employment. In many a business he does toil, but to the railroad he remains most loyal.
It's true. I'll put it in the journal. If I had a face like these outlaws, I'd sue my parents.
I'll keep all the information on how you're doing here on the company page. Let's hope you make it to Chief Engineer. Click on the tabs to... Our next milestone on the Transcontinental Railroad is North Platte. Dream Team?
Look at all those dead buffalo. A crying shame.
Lexington, Nebraska, September 31st, 1866. An outlaw has killed a herd of buffalo, and the Pawnee are blaming our railroad. Your mission? Make peace with the Pawnee. Return to this page whenever you need help. Click on Exit to start your mission.
Look at all those dead buffalo. Look, the train! It was derailed on purpose. The local tribe is blaming the railroad for killing the buffalo. It's a teenage squaw, and she's hurt. Every young teenager performs a vigil as part of their journey into adulthood. This girl's on her spirit mission, but she hurt her ankle, and now she wants to know if I can help her finish the mission. It's a feather. If I touch the right animals with this feather, I'll discover the everlasting standing woman and the little man spirit. I'm looking for two spirits altogether. A standing buffalo. A standing buffalo. It's the everlasting standing woman. She says take this pine cone and use it to find the tree spirit. A rock! Voila! Now I can cross the creek. A water container. Alrighty, filled to the brim. Trees! It's the tree spirit. He wants me to take this blue orb and give it to the squaw. It represents the bright blue sky and has healing powers. I can't go there. They're angry. I wonder if there's anybody else I can talk to. A crow! It's the little man spirit. A prairie flower, and he wants me to take it to the girl. It'll tell her the name of her firstborn son. The squaw. It worked! The blue orb healed the girl! Now she knows her firstborn son will be named Prairie Flower. We did it! We helped her on her spirit mission. Now she's off to the village. She says follow her. She'll introduce us to her father, the chief. A torch! A torch! The chief! He says he's grateful I helped his daughter. He is willing to offer forgiveness if I can show that I know how important the buffalo is to his people. He wants me to find 3 items made from buffalo and place them in the middle of the sacred buffalo rocks. It's dark in there. In I go. Anything useful in here? Rope. Add it to the inventory. In I go. Anything useful in here? A deerskin blanket. Add it to the inventory and let's get out of here. A mother and child. Baby needs a blanket. The mother would get it herself, but she doesn't want to wake the baby. She's grateful for the deerskin blanket. Here's a baby rattle made from buffalo hide and bone. Let's bring it to the sacred buffalo rocks. A brave. Pemmican is dried buffalo meat. I can have some if I bring him some water first. He's thirsty. A brave. He's grateful for the water. Says I can pluck some pemmican off the rack if I want some. And I do. Pemmican. I should drop this by the sacred buffalo rocks. A brave. He says he's willing to trade his buffalo hide moccasins for some rope. A brave. Awesome! He traded the moccasins for the rope. Better get these to the sacred buffalo rocks. Two more items, and these rocks will sing. The chief says we're almost done. Only one more buffalo item to find. That's the last item. Listen, the rocks are singing. It worked. The sacred buffalo rocks worked. The buffalo have returned. The chief has forgiven the railroad. Peace at last.
The Native Americans helped right that derailed locomotive. Everything's back to normal. At least for the time being. Our next milestone on the Transcontinental Railroad is North Platte. Let's build! Let's start!
sailed right over it. I'd hate that myself, but what's ours is ours. The railroad has right-of-way.
Some settlers want the railroad to come their way. It means more business, more traffic, more...
Pawnee Guide. A Pawnee scout asks you if you want to hire him to guide you through this tough country. What's your answer? We'll have to use sign language to talk to him. Sarah can help. Click on her camera.
Here are some signs to help you out. The scout's going from his home near the Loup River to the buffalo hunting grounds to the southwest. The whole Pawnee tribe takes that trip every year.
You take your fists and move them back and forth a few times. That'll send the right message.
You put your hand out, palm down. Then you swing it to the right and turn it over so your palm's facing up. I reckon that's the sign to use.
You point at your shoulder with your right hand, then move your hand down while you close your index finger over your thumb. Looks kind of like a man nodding his head. That's the right sign for us.
During the winter, the Pawnee live in round earth lodges that are over 50 feet across. You get into them through long tunnels that slant downward. They're made that way because of the religious beliefs of the tribe. You signed to the guide that you wanted to hire him as a scout. What do you offer him for his services? Sarah can help out if you need her.
You slide your right hand across your left palm a few times. It's an offer he can't refuse.
See, you pinch the loose skin on the back of your left hand with your right thumb and index finger. He'll want that for sure.
Here's what you do. You make a level circle with your thumb and index finger. That's what he wants.
Good decision. The Pawnee accepts your money and agrees to be your guide.
Money's the one thing most folks understand in any language. This fella's a scout, so he meets traders who want money all the time.
The banks of creeks are fairly low, and the whole place is prone to flooding. That wood trestle bridge is long enough to cross the river about 10 times. That's like building a doghouse with 6 rooms. Mysterious bones. Your workers discover the bones of an 8-foot giant beaver. What do you want to do?
Beavers are large rodents who live in water. They are from 3 to 4 feet long with broad, flattened tails.
I say we hightail it out of here. Giant beavers mean giant buck teeth. We'll be gnawed to death.
No such thing as a giant beaver. Must be some mistake. I say we send the bones to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. and see what they have to say about it.
The Smithsonian Institute tells you that you found the remains of a prehistoric beaver that used to live here. It's called Castoritis. They pay you $10,000 for the bones. Judging from the skeleton we found, they must have weighed between 700 and 800 pounds. The Smithsonian Institute was founded in 1846 in Washington, D.C. for the increase and diffusion of knowledge, whatever that means. The Smithsonian Castoritis lived at the same time as the greatest land animals of the Earth's history: the giant wide-horned bison, the mastodon and mammoth, the great ground sloth, the saber-toothed tiger. Canyon. The wide canyons in this area have nearly vertical rock walls. It's best to build bridges to cross them. You spend $100,000 on your bridge, but it could have been much worse without a Pawnee guide to show you the best place. I knew that guide would come in handy. Emergency! Wood is getting scarcer and scarcer as you head west. What are you going to do?
There's a Swedish settlement nearby. They must have wood. Let's buy it from them.
No wood in these parts? We better telegraph Omaha and have them send us some more.
You need to telegraph Omaha for wood. Sarah has a Morse code dictionary if you need it. Just click on the camera.
Here's Morse code. Use it to figure out what the message says. You probably don't need to look up every...
The Morse code for wood is this here.
Here's Morse code.
This here's the Morse code for wood. I'm like a human dictionary.
If you want the Morse code for wood, this is it. Good going. We successfully ordered wood and made it through this emergency without a hitch. We're right on track.
The river is wide and shallow. The banks on both sides have high bluffs. Excellent choice. North Platte. This settlement was a stopping point for the Oregon Trail, Mormon Trail, Pony Express, Overland Trail, and now the Union Pacific Railroad.
200,000 pioneers passed through here with the wagon trains headed for homesteads out west.
North Platte's on the way to just about everywhere. It's dead center between Chicago and Salt Lake City. Smack dab in the middle between Omaha and Denver, too.
I came through here before as a fur trader bound for the Rockies. Never thought much of these parts. The prairie dog colonies are a sight to see, though.
Not much here right now, except for some tents. They're building machine shops, a 10-stall roundhouse, and a Union Pacific hotel. They say they'll be done in 1867, a year from now.
North Platte. Congratulations! Plans are underway to make North Platte the site of the world's largest railroad yard. That's because North Platte's halfway between Chicago and Salt Lake City, and halfway between Omaha and Denver, too. A perfect location for a railroad. We'll be rich! We're in Pine Bluffs, Wyoming. It's 1867. Time's flying, but we're still beating the CP. Watch out, though. Mountains ahead may slow our progress. How are we doing on money? It's now 1866. President Andrew Johnson has formally declared the Civil War to be over. We've made it to North Platte. Time to move on to Pine Bluffs. The mastermind is at it again. There's more sabotage. This time in North Platte. Belle Starr has been spotted back near Lexington. We need to bring her in for questioning. On our way! North Platte, Nebraska, August 14th, 1867. A bomb has been spotted in the train yard. Your mission? Clear the locomotive out of the train yard and detonate that bomb. Good luck.
A tomahawk. One spark from this could detonate a blasting powder keg in no time. Engineer. He drives the locomotives. He ain't going near the trains. He's afraid of the bomb. Says we better get his train out of the train yard. First, we have to connect the mail car to the green locomotive. Into forward gear. That puts the locomotive in neutral. Into reverse gear. The throttle is open. Up. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. Here you go, buddy. Now get out of here before she blows. Let's talk to this engineer. Says he won't go near the bomb. We'll have to get inside his locomotive and connect it to his freight car. Bring it back here. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. I'll blow him up. Stand back. I'll go inside the roundhouse now. I'll have to pull the right lever to turn the train around. Look at the lever that's already pulled and do the opposite. That sounded like the turntable moved. That sounded like the turntable moved. Up I go. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. I'll have to pull the right lever to turn the train around. Look at the lever that's already pulled and do the opposite. That sounded like the turntable moved. That sounded like the turntable moved. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. Up. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. Up I go. Into forward gear. That puts the locomotive in neutral. Into reverse gear. The throttle is open. Into forward gear. The throttle is open. Here you go, buddy. Now get out of here before she blows. The saloon keeper. He was hiding under the bar, afeard of the bomb. Afeard of the bomb. Afeard of the bomb. Says outlaw locked it up. The combination is 3 letters that spell out a word that describes the outlaw. 3 letters that spell out a word that describe the outlaw. The saloon keeper just reminded me that the combination to the lock is 3 letters that spell out a word that describes the outlaw. A box. Click on the arrows to turn the lock. Always turn to the right first, then left, then right. Got it! The bomb! A well! Down the well she goes! We did it!
The trains are running again thanks to us. We're back and ready for action. We've made it to North Platte. Time to move on to Pine Bluffs. We're coming to get you, Belle. Belle Star is holed up in an Indian village. Your mission? Find Belle Star. Just click on the Train of Thought journal if you want help.
A brave. He knows where Belle Star is hiding. Here's what he says. Give it food and it will live. Give it water and it'll die. Give it food and it'll live. Give it water and it'll die. Outlaw, where you be? Give it food and it'll live. Give it water and it'll die. It's fire, of course. She must be in that teepee. Belle Star, show your ugly face. We found her, but she escaped again. That varmint. Let's find out where she's hiding next. Medicine Man. This is what he has to say. It can make you lighter or cause your death. I'll sniff 'em out. We caught Belle Star! Yeehaw!
Don't you need a license to be this smart?
Welcome back. Who? Loco. Who plows snow in duck feathers?
He makes things. And I don't mean bizarre comments like yours. What's with these ducks?
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. Where? Tough as nails. Now, no more nonsense. Where does your boss live? Let's have some answers. Pronto.
Pronto? A river flows nearby his home, but the river's name's not very pronto. It's the Mississippi.
Dodgy. I hate those. I'll record it anyway. Look who's talking now.
How undignified to talk like this!
All right, what? A question that's tough as nails. Unless you tell me what your boss looks like, I'm going to tell the other outlaws what your real name is, Miss Myra Belle Shirley.
Ha! That doesn't scare me. I don't care what people call me.
That's not a clue. What? Let's catch him off guard with a loco question. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, what color are snowflakes?
You trying to trick me, little one? I'll tell you this. He looks rich, and I like that in a mastermind.
False, huh? I'll make a record of it. This'll teach ya.
I don't appreciate this.
I'm getting angry in here.
How? Let's catch him off guard with a loco question. How does the mastermind make money, Sonny?
Sonny is not a word I'd use to describe myself. But I can tell you this. He's involved in transportation.
A true clue. I'll record it in the journal. Hi, outlaws. I'm a human being. What are you?
Hold your iron horses, I'm working here. We've made it to North Platte. Time to move on to Pine Bluffs.
All right.
the Cheyenne are hostile. During the Sand Creek Massacre on November 29, 1864, several hundred Cheyenne were killed by the U.S. Army.
Don't know about Cheyennes, but you can spot an Arapaho because they wear dark green and oxblood colored clothing with diamond patterns.
South Platte River. The South Platte River runs very fast and has a sandy bottom.
The Spanish, who explored this area years and years ago,
My idea of a party. But for $50,000, I reckon it was $1,000. Sitting in a tent on the prairie wasn't my idea of a party. But for $50,000, I reckon it was worth it.
Arapaho Camp. You see men and women wearing colorful red and green clothes decorated with diamonds. This is an Arapaho camp. The Arapaho trade with you and show you the best route west. You save $20,000 in the long run.
The Arapaho take a cactus needle and prick their skin. Then they rub powdered charcoal into the wound. When the wound heals, it has a sky blue color. They even tattoo their kids.
When there's a war on, the Arapaho women paint streaks on their cheeks, foreheads, and noses. In peacetime, they put a spot between their eyes. That stands for the buffalo calf. And a line from the mouth down to the chin. That stands for the road.
The Arapaho are experts at making animal sounds. They can bring deer out with special whistles they make out of wood or bone.
The Crow Indians, who live north of the Platte River, called the tribe Alapaho, which means people with many tattoos. Arapaho men often tattoo 3 small circles across their chest. Women tattoo a circle on their foreheads.
Arapaho boys and girls get their ears pierced. That represents being struck by lightning, which
Fuel for $50,000.
Shipping in lumber cost you $50,000. Turns out the Arapaho didn't need the trees at Lodgepole Creek, since they also used trees from the nearby mountains.
Guess sometimes it pays to be a little greedy. That's it. Next time I'm not sharing.
Cheyenne Camp. You see men and women wearing plain clothes with few colors. We've made it! All right! We'll be North Platte. We've made it to North. We'll be North Platte to Pine Bluffs. Winter's approaching. You send back. There are remains of an old span. Your workers. Thunderheads are seen on Arapaho Camp. You see men and women. Ranches. The cattle ranchers in this area may want the railroad to take their cattle to market. This could mean big business for your railroad.
Think about it. You're a cattle rancher in the frontier and the railroad is coming your way. Don't you think you'd use it to transport your cattle to market? And don't you think
$10,000. The Arapaho depend upon these trees. Bad decision. The heavy traffic west. Whew, Rollins, Wyoming. We made it. It's now 1868. One last push and we've made it to Promontory. If the CP doesn't catch up, the Golden Spike will be ours. If we ever solve the mystery, that is. It's now 1867. A new salad craze is sweeping the nation. What's a salad? Sounds like it's bad for you. Get a load of this. They've invented a machine that produces paper shopping bags. What'll they think of next? A deal at twice the price. Alaska just became part of the country for a mere $7.2 million. In 1867, big cities are making public parks so that people can breathe good air and avoid the cholera plagues that have killed 50,000 people. 1867. The U.S. Congress is looking into the impeachment of President Johnson. Serious business. Let's hope the country never faces this again. It's now 1867. A new salad. Pine Bluffs is a nice town, but our next milestone is Rollins. Engineering. We'll be trade in these parts. Trading posts have been set up for the homesteaders and immigrants coming through on the way out west.
Trading posts like this one are few and far between. Take advantage of them. Be careful though, or they'll take advantage of you.
Trading? All that talking gives me a headache. Give me a deck of cards and a saloon, and I'll get us what we need.
Way I see it, it's best we trade early. It's a long way to Rollins, and I reckon we should be ready for whatever comes our way.
All sorts of folks in these parts, and they'll all be wanting something from us. If you're doing any trading, think about what those folks need.
Building begins in Pine Bluffs in October of 1867. Thanks to the railroad, Pine Bluffs is fast becoming an important cow town.
A cow town? That's a place where ranchers bring their cattle to ship them out on the railroad. Folks come in from the cities and buy whole herds to send back to Chicago or New York. It's a lot of steaks.
Cowboys are always getting into trouble in these cow towns. After months of hard work herding cattle, they let off steam by drinking and gambling. At least most of them take a bath for once.
You won't catch me in a saloon. Lonesome cowboys paying $1 to dance with a girl. And the gambling. I saw a cowboy gamble away his ranch, his cattle, and even his family.
For early Native Americans crossing the Western Plains, Pine Bluffs provided ideal campsites.
After long months on the trail, cowboys love to hit the town. They take a bath, shave, put on new jeans, and drink, drink, drink. Forget fistfights. Most cowboys use guns and knives when they fight.
Building begins in Pine Bluffs is an important watering place along the Texas Trail. Cattle ranchers from all over move their herds through here on the way to market. Since we brought the train in, more cattle are shipped from Good decision. Turns out the homesteaders were lying about the Indian attack. They only wanted to trade.
Settlers in these parts might not see travelers for a long time. When they see the chance to make a few greenbacks, they get a little crazy. In the plains, there are few trees.
Trapper's Cabin. Locals say this abandoned cabin has a map to a secret gold mine. But there could be trouble from the grizzly bears in the area. If they attack your workers, what should they do?
I'll tell you what I'd do if I saw a grizzly. I'd be up a tree so fast the squirrels would eat my dust.
Here's the way I see it. The place where the bear is, that's the place you don't want to be.
Veda Vu Stone Formations. The name means earthborn spirit. The Arapaho think the rocky place is sacred and filled with spirits. Arapaho, eh? Maybe we can trade.
This place gives me the creeps. The coyotes are sneakier, the antelope are bigger and faster, and the wind sounds like it's talking to you. Stay away.
The Pawnee, Kiowa, and Comanche call the Arapaho a name that means he buys or trades. The Arapaho help the other tribes trade with each other. I guess that's what they do best.
The Arapaho believe in something called reincarnation. Let's say a baby is born with a birthmark or
Year-old granite. Veda Vu Stone Formations. Near these strange rock formations, you meet an Arapaho boy on a Kit Fox mission.
I say we give him money. He might be a warrior, but he's still a kid, and kids love money.
The Pawnee, Kiowa, and Comanche call the Arapaho a name that means he buys or trades. The Arapaho help the other tribes trade with each other. I guess that's what they do best.
The Arapaho men have 7 warriors. What would you like to trade with the boy from the Kit Fox Society?
I say we give him money. He might be a warrior, but he's still a kid, and kids love money.
If he's on a mission all alone, let's give him a compass so he can find his way. That's what I'd want.
give the boy a rifle to take back to his people. Hunting folks can always use another rifle.
The boy rejects your compass as worthless. Pine Bluffs is a engineering. Will be Pine Bluffs to Rome. Pine Bluffs is a nice town.